My awakening. I began meditating in my bedroom in Nashville, Tennessee in 2014. You may recall that my first attempt was short and I fell asleep almost as soon as I began. Still, I kept at the practice. My initial 5 minutes of meditating soon quickly turned into hours sitting and expanding knowledge of myself. 4 years later, on the lovely Tuesday morning of August 21st, 2018, I found myself standing in my kitchen doorway, which leads to my backyard, smiling and laughing in disbelief at the realization that all of Earth life is an illusion. I still had tears in my eyes. I looked outside at the green grass on my lawn, the gray car parked next to my white, aged storage shed, and the cloud patches scattered underneath the beautiful blue morning sky. I looked at my neighbor's house on my right and her burgundy car parked next to her own storage shed, and then I looked at the photo studio on my left. I felt a gust of wind blow across my face and witnessed its effects on the tall branches and green bushes serving as property boundaries separating my house and the photo studio. I could see and hear cars driving on Main Street about 200 yards away from me. While witnessing all of this, I could barely contain my excitement. I had just remembered that all these things were illusionary, unique expressions of me having a temporary experience designed to expand consciousness's knowledge of itself. What a magnificently designed concept! It was unbelievably beautiful. It was the work of pure genius. All I could think as my eyes darted all over the place was, so that's what's going on here. Shortly before this moment, I was downstairs in my bedroom meditating. I had woken up earlier that morning, a little bit after 4, as had been routine for me for over 4 years now. Unlike other mornings when I might have needed to convince myself to meditate, this morning was different. Upon waking up, I had a strong urge to immediately begin meditating. In fact, it was this urge that woke me up. For about 3 or 4 months leading up to this day, there was a specific yoga pose my body would continue to attempt to adopt while I meditated. All my attempts were futile, and I never succeeded in holding the pose for any length of time before falling over. The pose was a tougher version of the boat pose, a sitting and balancing pose requiring core and leg strength and relaxed muscles. The pose required that I sit on my butt and raise my legs to the sky at a 45-degree angle whilst keeping them straight. I needed to also keep my torso straight, with my head above my shoulders, neck relaxed, and eyes focused ahead of me. To complete the pose, I needed to grab the bottom of my feet with my hands and stabilize myself in this position. In effect, the completed pose looked like an upside-down equilateral triangle balancing on its vertex angle, my butt. The legs of the triangle were my legs and torso, and the base was the connection formed by my hands holding on to the bottom of my feet. Shortly after I began meditating that morning, my body again attempted to adopt the same yoga pose. This time, and to my surprise, I succeeded in holding the pose long enough for it to have a lasting effect on me. Immediately after balancing myself in the pose, my entire body began to shake and vibrate. At the same time, I felt a rush of energy move up from the base of my spine to the crown of my head. The shaking feeling was unmistakable, and the sensation of the energetic movement up my spine was unlike anything I had ever experienced in my life. I have had one other experience like that since.